Being not a voter puts me in a better position as a Christian to be objective and to be unbiased. Because if you are a Christian and you support Trump or you support Harris, then you're going to be biased and you're going to pretend that God chose either Harris. I don't know why God would choose Harris for. That she's pro-abortion, but people would actually argue that God has chosen Kamala Harris to run America. Or you could say that God has anointed Donald Trump. Some even go as far as to claim that Donald Trump is anointed. Some even go as far as to put Donald Trump on the cross and say, I worship God, but Donald Trump is my savior. So it becomes almost blasphemous, putting Donald Trump as part of the Trinity. And as Kenneth Copeland says, if you don't vote Donald Trump, you're going to hell. Your salvation is not based on Jesus Christ, but your salvation is based on Donald Trump, whether you vote him or not. They begin to realize what exactly is going on in Christianity. Already we can see that the gospel isn't wanted. Yesterday I made a video on the cross of Christ. It only got 19 views. That's all. It tells you Christians are not interested in the gospel anymore. They're interested in politics. They're interested in money. You know, the algorithms speak for themselves. Science speaks for itself, what Christians are into. And it's certainly not the gospel. Or deep gospel profound videos wouldn't get such little turnout, but preach about money, blessings, and motivation. Everybody latches onto them. Okay, this is the state of Christianity today. Christianity. However, Christians argue that they are safe under Donald Trump. I started with Matthew verse 6:24. No man can serve two masters at the same time. Two masters at the same time. The Bible's deep. It was talking about God and Satan. Although in earthly form, it was talking about two masters. You know, a slave or a servant can't serve two masters. You must love one and hate the other. You can't love God and love Satan. It's just impossible. The kingdom cannot divide against itself. If Donald Trump represents God, then he has to represent God 100%, not Republican values, but biblical values, not in accordance to a conservative way of life. That's not Christianity. He has to promote Christ, has to promote the Bible. Sadly, I don't see any evidence of Donald Trump being baptized. I don't see any evidence. If anything, the liberals are laughing because Donald Trump couldn't even quote one verse of the Bible. Yet he's anointed. He's called from God. He couldn't even quote his favorite verse. The Bible is a good book. Yes, it's a wonderful book. But he couldn't even quote a verse from it. He couldn't even quote what every child used to know, the Psalms and the Lord's Prayer. That is sad. Yet Christians want you to believe that Donald Trump is God's anointed. They want you to believe that Donald Trump is the best candidate because he's going to fight Israel's enemies. Another Republican theme. You begin to realize you're not serving Jesus. You're serving your political interest. And this quick video, I just want to say, Donald Trump says that Hillary Clinton, we all know what liberals stand for. Liberals stand for anything. Anything goes, no matter how freaky. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump says that Hillary Clinton, although she represents LGBTQ, nobody, or the LGBTQ is safer. It's right. The LGBTQ is safer, right? Under right his government, the LGBTQ. This is my cat, Tora. She's rescued. Hey, you're rescued pussycat, aren't you? You're rescued pussycat. Right? Yeah, right. Donald Trump says that at the end of the day, the gays and LGBTQ are safer under him. He will do more for them, more than Hillary Clinton. If the church is being persecuted by LGBTQ, why would Donald Trump give them more power? You can't serve two masters. You see my cat here? You see my cat? Right? When she's hungry, she comes home to food because I feed her. She's not going to go to somebody else's house. It would make, I'd feel betrayed, wouldn't I? I'd feel betrayed, eh? If you went somewhere else for your food. I give you plenty of love and affection, eh? So even my cat has more loyalty. My cat has more loyalty. Sorry, that's a bit childish. Right, but at the end of the day, right, in all seriousness, you can't serve two masters at the same time. You can't serve God and Satan. This is what the church tried to do. It's because blasphemous and wicked. Blasphemous and wicked. You know, trying to balance a book, trying to sit on the fence. You know, I don't want to get too controversial, but if you look at my old videos, why, you know, Kenneth Copeland and Creflo Dollar, why they pushed for Donald Trump. It's because during lockdown, he gave the church money. Hence why they were praying over him. You know, blasphemy. Same as T.D. Jakes when he was pretending to pray over Diddy. You know, Diddy was done for sexual harassment, who got into all these gay orgies, and T.D. Jakes was, you know, another one who's a director, a black Hollywood director, and he gave T.D. Jakes 100 million or something, and they both went off into tongues. This guy doesn't even go to church, doesn't even believe in God. Yet he, you know, because he gave T.D. Jakes money, they both went off into tongues. Together. It's a mockery. You know, the church has become a mockery. And it, you know, it gets you angry. I made a video yesterday, you know, on the cross of Christ and the suffering that he went through for us. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. If I'm going to do a follow-up to that video, you know, and really expose that, you know, we talk about pastors, you know, who are wolves in sheep clothing, that there are many Christians who are nothing more than wolves in sheep clothing too. We always talk about pastors who are wolves in sheep clothing and false prophets, but there are many Christians out there, fake Christians, who are also wolves in sheep clothing, or, you know, in saintly clothes. Wolves who are pretending to wear saintly clothes. There are many out there, but you preach the gospel to them and they're not interested. You know, so you can't serve two masters at the same time. Will Donald Trump remain true to the Bible? And I don't mean Republican values, because anybody can pick a verse out the Bible and say, well, this supports liberal agenda, this supports Republican agenda. And usually follow the money trail, and you find that it's about money. It's about who's paying them, or who serves their political interest. You know, and sadly, I've covered a lot of videos, you know, over the years, you know, and how conflict of interest has destroyed Christendom. You know, conflict of interest has destroyed Christendom. Eh? You gotta go down now, eh? Right? You gotta go down now. Right? You know, conflict of interest has destroyed Christendom. You know, and as a result, you know, people are not interested in truth anymore. They're not interested in the gospel. You know, they're rather interested in money, in blessings, you know, in having their political persuasion, you know, at the forefront. That's what they're interested in. They're no longer interested in Jesus, I'm afraid. And the more videos I make on 100% pure, clean gospel, and they don't get any attention, it's the more I begin to realize the world doesn't want Jesus. You know, hence why Matthew verse 6:24 says, you know, no man can serve two masters at the same time. You can't even try. It's just impossible.